Welcome to Spotlight, a new podcast of the Topeka Community Foundation. We're going to be shining a spotlight on great programs, projects, and investments in our community. And today, we're so pleased to have Jamie Jalil with us. She's the Executive Director of Be Filled and will be sharing with us the important difference they're making to the residents they serve in South Topeka. Jamie, we know that you are committed to the Montara area and South Topeka. Tell us a little bit about your connection to that community and why you care so deeply about the neighbors and the community there that you're serving.
Well, we realized a while back in 2021 that there was such a need for resources in South Topeka, and there was just nothing available to help folks out. And a group of us got together and we decided that we are going to open Be Filled. We expected it to only be a food pantry at the time. And we did have some people were mentioning we should throw clothes into it, but we were like, what building are we going to get? How are we going to do this? And we finally came up with a plan where we took over a building where a church had resided, which was a Montara church. So we got that building, we opened up, and it's just been going ever since. We really felt like people of the community, which is where I reside. It's my home, it's my community. And it was several of the others who also helped start Be Filled. We felt like there just was nothing there for them. It's a low-income neighborhood, a lack of resources. There's no bus transportation. The nearest bus stop is 3.5 miles away. There is no stores except for Walmart on 37th, which is where the bus stop is, so 3.5 miles away. And people have struggled for so long. It's a Washburn Rural School District, but it is a Tier 1 school district, meaning they don't have the resources or the funds like other Washburn Rural schools or other schools that are in town.
The Topeka Community Foundation makes it our business to know about our community, to know about the organizations that are serving our community. And Be Filled came on our radar. We had conversations with you and had made some grants to your organization. But talk a little bit about the conversation that we had that I think maybe was a turning point for your organization in thinking about who you could be and how you could best serve the community that you want to serve.
So we had met with you, Marsha, and we were talking about expanding and offering mental health services. And we had all of these ideas of what we wanted Be Filled to turn into. But there was a major obstacle that was present. Both myself and the executive director at the time, Brandy Brown, we both had daytime jobs. And so we were working like 60 to 80 hours a week, making Be Filled run for 3 years before it really started weighing on us, our families, our bodies, like all the things. That's too much to work in a week. And we wanted Be Filled to grow because that's where our heart was. That's part of our soul is to serve this community. And we came to you and we said, we are really needing help here. Like we know that the need is there. We know that our work ethic and our drive is there. We just need a little bit of help to get over this obstacle to where one of us, which we had discussed would be me, that would close, end my current job, which was a daycare at the time. I would close that down and I would do Be Filled full time and get it exactly where it needed to go. And thank goodness, around the same time, I believe how it went was you had stuff that you were working on in the background. And little did I know that soon you would have a program that could possibly help Be Filled, and it has helped Be Filled tremendously. It is a game changer.
Right. Sometimes organizations are you're so busy meeting today's need that you haven't had the opportunity to think about the future and how to in the most impactful way with the lean resources that you have, do all the things that you want to do. And so getting a little bit of assistance to help you take a step back, provide that technical assistance to take a strategic look at moving forward, it can be a game changer, I think. And I hope that you feel like it was for you and your organization.
Do.
Good.
Yes, definitely. Also, and Topeka Community Foundation was a part of our strategic plan. And that kind of lined out what our vision would be. And we had it framed, like we know exactly what we want to do on this year, and this year. But without that salary portion, we could not have really obtained those goals because we were just burning the road up. It just wasn't possible. And like I said, our work ethic and our drive and our love for Befield, it makes everything a possibility, just having the time to make those opportunities happen.
People who don't face obstacles like worrying about transportation, who don't have food insecurity, they may or may not realize what something very normal for them feels like could look like for a family who lives in Montara. So can you maybe walk us through the kind of assistance that you provide and the barriers that people have normally in getting groceries, in having the clothing that they need for their children, school supplies? What does that look like, and how do you knock down those barriers so that you're able to meet the residents in your community where they are?
So part of the way that we framed Befield was we realized how hard it is for community members or anyone really to come in and ask for help. It's really hard. You have to just let go of your fear and come into a place where you may not know what it's like, and then say, I need help. And people are vulnerable. That's not easy. And so we kind of set the framework where when people come to us and they come inside Befield, they will feel loved, respected, uplifted. We are smiling, we're joking. I'm right at the front counter. They see me smiling, I'm tossing candy out, I'm hugging kids. Like, we will go out of our way no matter what kind of day we have. We check that at the door. And when our group comes in to work, they are ready to love people. If they need a prayer, we stop what we're doing and we pray right in the middle of service. If they need a hug, whatever it may be, we make it happen. That's what we're there for. We want it to be easy for them. Our community is, like I said, a low-income neighborhood. The schools, I feel, are somewhat stressed out. I work closely with them. Andrea is a community expert for Pauline Central and Pauline South. So her feet are also on the ground in Montara, and she's the president of our board of directors. So we work closely together with the schools to get them the resources that they need. If ever a family, say a student comes to school and they don't have food or they don't have clothing or a coat or shoes, before they go out and get that, they'll give me a phone call. And if we've got it, I run it over there. And most of the time we do. So we get things immediately done, no questions asked. There's, of course, a lot of rules and regulations with schools. So I won't meet with the family at that time. I will give it to Chris Holman or Andrea, which he's the president or principal. Sorry about that. I will give it to them, and then they will get it to the family. We noticed from conversations with the community, there is a lot of single parent homes. There's elderly homes. There's homes where both parents are working and the children are at home a lot by themselves. It's a very family-oriented community. There's a lot of children in Montara. There's very few parks. We have the one small park across from the rental office. Very, very small, like only 2 or 3 kids could play. There is the rec center, and that's really not available because they have daycare going on during the day, so they kind of frown upon using that park. And then there's the school parks, which you can't use during the day because they're in session. So there's really nothing there for children to do except to sometimes get in trouble.
Right.
When we don't invest in our communities, it's never good because bad things happen. Crime rate raises. Children get into trouble or get harmed because they're out finding things to do, in the yard, or in the road. And so through all the questions with the community, we have felt like they needed food, they needed clothing, they need employment. And, you know, a lot of it's emotional needs as well. I think that there is a lack of mental health help in the area, a lack, of course, transportation, and I think just feeling seen and heard. Before Be Filled, because I've lived out there, so like I said, this is my community. Before Be Filled, there was never this community strong base, like even within our neighborhood page. It's Montera, What's Going On in the Neighborhood is the name of it. And now, since Be Filled is there and has started like spreading this like optimism and uplifting, I've noticed that community members are doing it within themselves. Someone says, I need milk or I need formula. And someone else says, oh, I got this from Be Filled. Come over, I'll share it with you. And we see that all week, like so many things. People are being more decent to one another and they're realizing that we're in this together. And I really do feel like, and people are good. So please, I'm not taking the credit for good people, but it's really just brought it to the surface and people know.
That kind of opens the door to talk about partnerships. Who is it? Like, who are the other organizations that you're working with? And then maybe talk about your funders and the partnerships that you have with them and the difference that's making for your organization. Yes.
So our two main funders is, of course, Topeka Community Foundation and Advisors Excel. Advisors Excel was the very first funder that we ever had. It was extremely rare. So when you're a startup organization, it is really hard to get a spot in the community because you kind of have to work your way through, like through blood, sweat, and tears. You kind of have to work your way through to really let donors know and organizations know that you're there to stay. Like you are going to be ethical and you're going to have integrity and you're going to be a good steward of their money. All of those things matter and it takes time to kind of build that. AE went out to give us our very first startup. It was $10,000, which is what we needed for rent at the time in our old building. And we got the building and we did not know, we didn't know where we were going to begin, but somehow it got us here. God has been good to us and provided. We have Prairie Band, who is a donor, Kansas Gas. Of course, this is on the spot. I'm trying to think of all of the donors right at the moment. But Target Distribution, Walmart Fulfillment, Mars participates in some of our fundraisers. We do have 2 fundraisers a year that help us with overhead cost. But partnerships have been great. So I had met with Dave Callahan. He wanted to come take a look at the building maybe 2 years ago. And he's a really smart fellow, I'll tell you. He had told me, I said, what could we do to really take Be Filled to the next level and help like broaden it, help people know, help make awareness of what we're doing and why we're doing it and for what community. And he said, partnership is your friend. Mm-hmm. And I've since then learned that AE's motto is like partnership, in every way possible partnership. And so at the time I said, okay, not knowing what he meant by that. I mean, partnering, yes, but I had no idea until it began exactly what he meant. Now we are able at Be Filled to provide 350 backpacks and school supplies for the children of Montera. So Pauline Central, Pauline South, middle school, high school, as long as they reside in Montera, we're able to provide that with partnerships with 2 church organizations that help out, with Advisors Excel, Bimbo Bakery. So all of those partnerships help make that possible. That's something that we can do that does not pull from Beefield's funds. That's something that I have partnered and networked with other places and then just did the groundwork and made it possible. We're able to host an Easter event in Montera for all of the children for free. So families don't have to worry about going to Chuck E. Cheese or to Bonkers or the movies and spending $100 to have fun with their family. They can come for free and have a blast and have dinner, have fun. We do a fall festival, same thing. All completely free. Beefield will never charge for the events that we do in Montera, never. And so families can come and do that. We're able to hand out Thanksgiving meals and Christmas meals. And then, of course, our 2 fundraisers that I had mentioned. But all of those things are possible through partnerships with local companies that have really, once they learn about Beefield, once that they have met with me and they've seen the numbers and the data, they're more than willing to want to step up and help.
The work that you're describing, I know that it takes an executive director and it takes a board, but I'm guessing there's also lots of boots on the ground people who are assisting you. Can you tell us about who they might be and the different jobs that they might have and the difference that truly makes for your organization?
Yes. So other than the executive director, Beefield is primarily and mostly volunteer-based. So we have a director team within Beefield, so not our board of directors, but a director's team. And then we have all of the volunteers that come in and help. Most of the volunteers have been there since day one, and I call them my lifers. They love Beefield, and they are there twice a week, every week. And then also sometimes behind the scenes, like as the semis are coming in from harvesters or pickups from other organizations of food that we get donated or merchandise. And so there is a lot of work behind the scenes, and definitely Beefield would not be able to do what we do without all of their help. We also have a Advisors Excel. They send out a crew, which I don't know if you knew this, but they pay their employees to come out and volunteer at different organizations. And so they will send 6 people to us every other Wednesday that come out to Beefield and help unload the semi, which is so helpful because a lot of it's frozen meat or cold food that has to be quickly unloaded and put away. And yeah, I mean, we are able to do all of that through them. Part of Beefield, and I tell the volunteers this all the time and the directors, every win for Beefield, if we get voted, as we have the last 2 years for a nonprofit, when that happens, that's a win for everybody because we are together. Any win is for every single person in the organization. We couldn't do it without absolutely everyone. And we're able to do more than sometimes what people may hear about, which is just the food and clothing. We are able to apply for the Make-A-Wish Christmas grant that AE does. And that has helped a family, actually, a gentleman, he had polio. He was a veteran. He survived polio, but he was having trouble taking a shower. And we were able to fill out for that grant at Advisors Excel. He didn't actually get chosen because they have different, recommendations for how they choose. But the company who does showers said, we want to take that on.
Wow.
So they put a shower in this gentleman's home and he wasn't tripping getting into the shower. So like all of these things behind the scenes, one of our clients who comes in, it's an elderly couple for food, and her dryer had went out. She was washing her clothes and hanging them up around her house. Then her dryer went out. And she was without a washer and a dryer, and she was trying to carry laundry to her car and into a laundromat. And this is a woman in her late 70s that's trying to manage that. So we were able to write a grant through the Sunflower Grant Committee. And for the first time in her life, this was actually 2 days before Christmas last year, we strolled up at her house 2 days before Christmas with a brand new washer and dryer from Sam's Club.
Wow.
And she cried and told us that she had never in her life, late 70s, owned a brand new washer and dryer.
Wow.
So there's so many things that happen through partnerships and through volunteers and the dedication of everybody around us that just help make things possible. And sometimes I know my team teases me because if there's an opportunity in front of me to help somebody, whether it's in our wheelhouse or not, I'm probably going down that aisle. So they're like, Jamie, stick to the program. So we do wander into other things to help people if we can. We are there. We're doing it.
Absolutely.
Recently, during the SNAP, the SNAP failure, we were located at Forbes Field, and we have had a tremendous amount of military members coming in. They didn't have a paycheck for 2 months, so they were coming in to be filled. Their therapists at both the 190th and the National Guard reached out to be filled because of them and asking for help. They're trained like not to do that. They're trained to be the one helping, to be the savior. And so when they finally ran out of food through their cupboards and freezers, they went to their therapist, and their therapist called us, and we opened up when we were not open. So when we were closed, and we served them privately to help them get what they need.
Yeah,
this has
awesome.
Been going on. Yeah, and they're still catching up.
You've started as a small group of caring people in your community who saw a need and wanted to meet a need. You've grown from one small building now to a larger facility. You've talked about mental health in your community. You're doing events. What's next for Be Filled, and what is it that keeps you awake at night, that you see a need for, that you believe that your organization can meet the needs of your neighbors?
One of the stories that I actually have only shared with you before, Marsha, but I think it would be a good opportunity to maybe share it with other people. I was a single mom. As I had 3 children, and I lived in Montana, and I raised them primarily by myself. I had a daycare as my job, and I was able to take care of them, put them through school, and I seen the struggles of what I had and what the neighborhood had. And I remember praying to God every night, if I make it through this and my kids are good, loving, well-adjusted, decent people, that I was going to spend the rest of my life giving back, because I've been given an opportunity to do that, just to make it for them. And so when Be Filled happened, I was all in. I was like, this is it. Yeah. This was my calling. This is what I'm supposed to do. And so the organization that helped me start my daycare when I was a single mom was actually Let's Help. And they had a program that no longer exists. And I think that it's a wonderful program, and I would love to do something like that with Be Filled. It was called a hand up, not a handout. And I seen a therapist for a few months that helped me start my daycare, get me in the right headspace from a divorce and raising kids by myself. And I would love to do that for other people. I know that with poverty comes so many different factors, such as substance abuse or things that childhood trauma. There's so many different things that can cause or make situations worse. And with the transportation barrier, I would love to be able to bring in people, clients, that could take a resume class and could take a class in, or just coaching in how to, have a good interview and how to follow through and how to have expectations for themselves and for their employment. And I feel that with my work with the companies in my area, and I've gotten to know them really well, I think that I could get them through the door to at least an interview. If I could provide those other steps, that could change someone's life. It could change the trajectory. So I really would like to take Be Filled, even if it's just starting at a few people at a time and getting them through. It would not only help my community, it would also help the businesses out there that are desperate for employees but people in town who don't have transportation can't make it out there. So I feel like it would be a win-win, and it would be an opportunity that I was given that I could give to other people. I would love to do that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Jamie, I appreciate how your vision for your community is so inclusive. You're serving kids and you're serving families and seniors, the military, your vision for making that community all that it can be through one organization. Yes. So tell us a little bit about the numbers. How many people you serve, kind of the statistics behind your vision. We know what you want to do, and you've painted a beautiful picture for us of where you could go next. But when someone comes in your door and needs food, what are some of the statistics? What's some of the data that you track so that you know that you're meeting those very important needs for your neighbors?
So since we have opened February of 2022, we have just made it past the 82,000 individuals being served food and clothing. Of course, that was February of 2022. So that's been a while. We're open 2 days a week. And so during both of those days, which is Tuesday evening, we serve around 120 families. And of course, that's food, hygiene, and clothing. We're also open Saturday mornings, so it would be the opposite shift. So it can kind of meet the needs of whatever hours parents are working, they can still make it in. Saturday mornings, we are serving around 90 families every week.
And so remind us where you are physically located and or how people do you have a website? Is there a phone number? Do they email? If they need your services, how would they get connected to you?
Yes. So our website is www.befilledofsouthtopeka.com. We also have a Facebook page. All of our information on our Facebook page is very current. So if we ever close due to the weather or whatever it may be, it will be on that Facebook page. We are located at Forbes Field. So we're in South Topeka on Topeka Boulevard. Around the 77th Street exit. Our address is 7127 Southeast Forbes Avenue, and it's building 449C.
Okay, great. We appreciate so much your heart for your community, the programs that you've provided, the many, many lives and families that you've impacted. And we're proud to be one of the supporters that have made this possible for our community. When we work together, for our neighbors who need our help the most, powerful things can happen, and it's happening through you and your organization.
Oh, thank you, Marsha. We couldn't do it without you. The whole name, Better Together, really means something. Like that. That's an actual, real life thing that we're building here.
Be Filled is a great example of the transformative grants being made by the Topeka Community Foundation. We are looking for impact for our neighbors who need our help the most. In zip codes where making the healthy choice is not the easy choice. If you'd like more information about applying for a grant from the Topeka Community Foundation, go to our website or give us a call. We have all the information that you'll need about our grant opportunities in 2026.